Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Business Spotlight. I am Scott McMeans with Action Coach SBL, and I am pleased to have with us from Royce Security, Joe Conley. So, as we start the program, as we do with everybody, Joe, give us a chance to learn a little bit about yourself and your business. So, introduce yourself to the crowd. Let us know who you
Sure,
are.
Scott, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So as he said, I am Joe Conley and my company is Royce Security. We are a Cleveland, Ohio based security firm. We provide security guard services throughout nine branch offices throughout Ohio, New York, Michigan, and Kentucky. We're upwards now of employing about 1,000 people. I got into this world in 1994 in sales. I needed a job at that point, where I was home at night. I just got full custody of my kids at that point. So the job that I had previously, I was doing a lot of traveling. So I just needed to find something, where I was home at night. And I answered an ad for a security guard salesman, had no idea, kind of what it was. Went there in 1994, stayed at that job until about the fall of 1995. Joined Royce in the fall of 1995 as the general manager, and bought the company in September of 2001. At that time, we employed about 70 people.
Wow. All right. That's phenomenal story. Kudos to you for making such a bold decision in 2001. So the obvious question goes, you had 70 employees then. Now you have close to 1,000, you said. What is it, Joe, that you would attribute your success and growth from 2001, 22 years later to now?
Yeah, so, great question, Scott. I mean, I have like a saying that's, what you do next, okay? And, by that, I simply mean that, running a business, growing a business, there's going to be, a lot of stumbling blocks, right? A lot of mistakes, a lot of issues, bad things are going to happen. I think it's, what you do next. Okay. When something bad happens, when you plan for something and it, doesn't work out, it falls apart, you lose a contract, a big contract, what do you do next? And I think that I'm very good at the, what you do next. And then, from there, Scott, really it's, about people. I mean, team. I'm very fortunate that I have a great team here. And from that team, really, if I'm being very honest, it, starts with my wife. She's, my partner in life and in business. She allows me to focus on, growth. She allows me to do the things, that I do well. The things that I do well, she doesn't. The things that, she does well, I don't. So it's a really, really nice partnership. All honesty, I would not be where I am in life, and the company would not be, where we are, without my wife, Tina. I give her, all the credit there.
It's a smart man.
Yeah, exactly.
So with the success you've had, and I love the idea of what you do next, because it doesn't matter how you got here, it's what you're going to do from this point forward to get to where you need to go.
Exactly.
Right. And I think there's an old saying too in our world, what got you here is not going to get you there. So you need to think about what's next. And this ties very well into what you're doing. I'm interested with all the people that you have, and you made a great comment about the people and the team are really what help drive a lot of what you do. So what is it that you look for in your employees? What do you look for in your team and the culture? How do you recognize somebody as a good fit versus somebody that most frankly is going to deselect themselves from your organization? How does that
Well,
work for you?
well, I mean, the key word there and all that is team, right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, we look for people that we feel can be part of a team. Not all people can. Even, successful folks, some of them are not suited to be, part of a team. I feel that if we can find someone that's got the, characteristics that they can be part of a team and fit, on a team, then we can work with them. We can develop them. My background is, a team sports. So I really believe that I've, learned, so much, from that team sports. Yeah. I mean, I always tell people that, any of the, successes that I've had in business and in life are because of team sports. I mean, I've learned, so much, being part of teams. So, that's what we
That's a
look.
big piece.
Yeah.
That's a big piece. What is it that somebody would demonstrate that piques your interest and says, yep, that's the person that fits with our organization? What is
Um,
it as a characteristic or a value, behavior, belief system? What is it that is the one or two triggers that say, Joe, this is the guy you have to bring on your team?
a desire to learn,
Okay.
an open-mindedness to, learn and to change, and to, not always have to, be the person that has, the right answer. We're a team. Can you work with a team? Can you, collaborate? Those kind of qualities.
Yeah, that's great because I think one of the things that we have right now is this sense of entitlement, and I know that, or I already know that.
Right.
And when somebody doesn't have the capacity to learn, they don't have a capacity to grow, which means they don't fit into organizations that are looking to develop the right skill set and fit for their team and their overall business goals. So I think that's a smart thing to bring into the overall world that you're trying to be in. If you were to say, what's the biggest learnings you've had since you've owned the business, developed these teams? What are some of the things that are the biggest learnings or the biggest revelations that you've had in your career so far?
Yeah, great. So, when I started in this field in, I think I said 1993 or 94, I took a job, with, a company that was small. And I took the job in sales, but it very, quickly moved into where I became, like an operations, person. And I was on call, 24/7. And we are in a 24/7 business, right? I mean, our people are out there working, 24 hours a day. So for, 2 years or so, I mean, I was a guy. I had a pager back then. I had a cell phone that was about, as big as my shoe. And I got, every single call, every problem from a customer, every, guard problem, no show, scheduling conflicts, all that stuff. I mean, I did that, for 2 straight years. When I bought my company, the big mistake that I made is I was, looking for that kind of guy, those kind of people, that would do that. And I burned through a lot of people. So what I really learned, and unfortunately, quite honestly, it took me, way too long to learn it, is that model is not sustainable.
Mhm.
I was losing, quality people because, I expected them to, be that guy, to be that person when the phone rings, 3 o'clock in the morning, Christmas Day, no matter the fact that they've, already put in their 40 or 50 hours, right? I just wanted, so I was looking for that. And I finally had to take a step back and realize that I had to build
Mhm.
a team of, good people. That one person, couldn't do it all. They could do it all for a short period of time, but it wasn't sustainable. I mean, I don't think that I could have done it, much longer than, kind of what I did,
100%. And I think one of the things that comes out through your conversation, you wanted somebody just like you,
Yeah. You're always looking for that, right?
right? But if you had just you, then the whole company would be just people like you doing all the things that
Right.
you do.
That's right.
So the growth and learning curve is so flat
It's
because
stifled. Yep.
yeah, everybody thinks, walks, and talks the way Joe does, and you're
Right.
not getting a diversity of thought, and then you're not able to grow. I have to give you kudos for making that transition from this is what I need because this is what I believe is secure, not to be
Yeah.
funny, but this is what's secure to me, to grow into I need to surround myself with people that can give me different thoughts, people that can let me grow, and then give them the rope and latitude to go do the things they need to do to build my team better. So that's a huge piece. And I wish a lot of people the same foresight as they build their business to think that way,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people that just love what they do and they don't see the forest through the trees. So that's
Yeah.
a kudos thing to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do have to ask you about you and Tina, and this
Sure.
is business life, work life.
Yeah.
How do you balance the partnership at home
Yeah.
and the partnership at the office
Yeah.
when you are partners in both of those worlds?
Yeah.
So how do you balance that work life piece? How do you balance your partner in two different working relationships?
Yeah. Great question. So, I mean, I certainly don't know that our partnership, works for all. Okay. I mean, I think
Mm,
sometimes people would think, that it's tough. Um, we make it work because we're, you know, on the same page when it comes to family and work. Tina is honestly, and she is, the hardest working person, that I know. Okay. I mean, she mostly, Scott, works from home. She
mm,
goes into, that office at home, every morning at, 8:30 a.m. and she can sit there without moving until
mm.
5 o'clock. Now, when I work from home, I'm doing everything but work. I'm watching Sports Center. I'm, up and down. I'm walking the dog. I'm doing, whatever. But she can go into that office at home, Scott, and she can, just, work. But I mean, for me, I mean, I feel that I give a lot of my time, kind of to my family.
Yeah.
We have a 9-year-old son, together. And, I, to give the amount of time that I do, to my family, when I'm here at work, I'm laser focused. I'm really, zoned in,
Hmm.
you know, um, and, I can get, probably more work done in, 6 hours here at work, than a lot of people do in, 8 or 10 hours. Now that's not to say that, sometimes, like at night, in the evening, when they're in bed, that I'm not up, still working. But, while I'm here at work, I'm just, laser focused.
Yeah. If you were to describe the relationship or the participation you have versus Tina, is there you're the idea person, she's the executor, is the other way around? How do you describe that
Yeah,
relationship
she
on the
is,
working side?
yeah, she's the policy person, the implementation person, she's the tech person. She manages all, back of the house stuff.
Hmm.
Stuff I'm not good at all. I'm the, big thinker person, relationship builder, the, a financial, manager, that kind of stuff. I'm, the salesperson. I'm that. I'm the, goal person, what's next person,
Yeah,
on a path for growth person.
that's great. And that's why it works,
Works
right?
fantastic.
That's why it works.
Yeah.
So what are some of the misconceptions that people would have about running or owning their own business that you would like to explain to them? Because everybody believes, oh, you own your own business, your life must be X,
Yeah.
or
Well,
your bank account must be Y,
yeah, right.
right? So what are
Exactly.
some of the misconceptions that people might have about owning Royce Security?
Well,
Not
for me, Scott, it's always been, time. Okay.
Mhm,
I think people, in general, and, family and friends always think that because, you're your own boss, that you either, don't have to work, or you can
mhm,
take time to do, other things that, they want you to do, kind of for them. And, over the years, I've really had to, talk to, family members about, yes, it's my business. It's, Tina's business, but we work hard every single day.
mhm.
We don't have that kind of time. We are working too. Yes, it's been great over the years that I've never missed, a school function, team, my kids in sports. I've never missed any of that, which is great.
Yeah,
But I still have to work. And if I leave here now to go see my son's, school play or something, you better believe that at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, you know,
you're right back at it.
you know, I'm back to work. So I think, big thing that people always think, oh, you work for yourself, do what you want. Well, yes and no. You do what you want, but you work probably more hours, than the
Yeah,
average person.
yeah. That's good advice. Speaking of advice, Joe, what would you tell 18-year-old Joe Conley?
Well,
What advice would you give yourself?
there's a lot of stuff that I would like to say to myself, but I'm not going to say it here. But one of the things that I've learned over the last, few years is, that back then, I wish I would have, you know, developed a love for books,
Hmm,
reading, learning, just a thirst for knowledge, right? Um,
okay.
just, I would, tell myself back then to be a lifelong learner. Never stop, read, explore, those kind of things. And then, really then for, all young people, I would have to say, there's nothing beats, old fashioned, hard work, when
Mm,
you're young, get yourself a job, develop a sense of pride for, going to work, and then, having, your own money, right? I mean, there's nothing, kind of better than that, but a lot of young people, they don't know that,
mhm.
get a job, when you're 15 or 16 years old, even, whatever, 14, I've been working, I think, since I was, 14, get a job, develop that, hard work, that, just a sense of pride, for going to work, every day, and having your own money. That's
Yeah,
all.
those are good ones. I think pride in one's own accomplishments is something that everybody has a desire for. I don't know if they necessarily have an understanding of how to get it because they haven't been through that grinder. They haven't been through that experience of getting up, doing it, and then
Right,
earning something at the end. And that's where tying it all back, Joe, to your commentary about team sports. That is all contributing to you get up, you do
right,
something, you contribute, you earn accolades, you earn victories, whatever the case may be.
yeah,
But there's a lot to be learned in that whole space, right? Because not everybody gets a chance to win.
right,
But when you learn from the victories and you learn from the losses, it makes you a better person, regardless of what your pursuits are. So
absolutely.
it's good to see that you have such a great mindset towards this, and obviously you've built a business around it. It's inspiring to see how this all transpire or goes forward for you. I am curious, since we talked about what you would tell 18-year-old you, what would you tell any young or any new business owner when it comes to developing the best business possible? What advice would you have for those folks?
Yeah, I think a lot of people start a business, go into one, or and they don't really have the financial kind of knowledge that they're going to need. I mean, I would tell people going in that there's two kinds of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt, right? I mean, the good debt is if you are financing your growth, borrowing money for your growth, you get a multiple on that of 2 or 3 or 4x. That's good debt, right? If you're mismanaging your money, the company's money, if you're spending when you shouldn't spend, and you're just getting yourself and your company in debt, that's bad debt, right?
Yeah.
And then kind of from there, then as soon as you're able to, hire a good financial controller to help with that. Because you know what, Scott, I didn't do that for too many years. I always thought, I don't need that. I'll get a bookkeeper, part-time person to kind of pay the bills and that, but I don't need it. Well, as soon as you're able to, hire a good financial controller. It pays for itself. It's the best thing that I could tell somebody.
Great advice. And I think there's so many different things that a business owner has to master as they go through their career as a business owner. Mastering money is a big one, and you've got that nailed down. Mastering your direction, where your vision is, mastering how you deliver your product, and then mastering your time. Those are things that business owners constantly struggle with every day. And to have, like you said, a good financial controller to make sure that you, one, pay your money, pay your taxes, stay out of trouble.
Right.
And two, work your way into strong or good debt versus bad debt. Somebody that understands how to maneuver that landscape, that's a big piece. And I give you credit for that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, Joe, this has been great. We are closing down on the spotlight, but I wanted to ask you a question because you said you wish you had a love for books when you were younger and you like to be a lifelong learner. Is there one book that you have read that has been life-changing, altering, mindset difference, like something that happened when you read a book? Is there one book that you would say, that's the book I read that made a difference in my life?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there is. I mean, there's a book called Make Your Bed by William McRaven.
Okay.
He's a Navy guy, high ranking. And, the book's, just a short read, 9 chapters, I think, very short chapters, but it's just about, starting your day by accomplishing something, right? If you get up in the morning and you make your bed. Now, it doesn't have to be that, for him, that's what it was. In the Navy, they got up in the morning, they made their bed, right? But just small things to start your day that you accomplish. And then it just, kind of talks about, just then, throughout your day, completing, one small task, stack them on top of each other, one small task. And I've seen, kind of from that how successful, your day is, when you do that. When you start with something small, that you accomplish, then, stack them from there, get this done. This is on my list, today, check it off. I got it done. Then go on to the next task and you'll get it done and get it done. Your day works out, pretty well.
It's impressive. Yeah. I've actually seen that YouTube video of his speech at the graduation of at Annapolis.
Yeah.
And for those watching, I highly suggest you Google or YouTube search Make Your Bed and get a chance to watch that commencement speech because it's powerful.
Yeah, that's great.
To your point. To your point, it's stack up wins every day, and before you know it, you're a winner. Right. And then as a winner, you believe nothing is impossible. And as a winner that believes nothing is impossible, you go forward and you conquer whatever is in front of you.
Absolutely.
And that's a mentality that we need to have when we're business owners. It's a mentality we need to have regardless of what endeavors we have in front of us, but it's a mentality that changes your life and it makes you a much more positive person, and then you attract people that want to be around you. So I kudos to you, because that's a great book. I didn't know it was a book, but I know I'm familiar with that phrase.
Yeah.
Joe, this has been a great experience. I love everything you had to talk about. I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to tie it back. What are you going to do next?
What am I going to do
Because
next?
that's your phrase, right? That's your phrase. What
Well, I'll tell
do
you
you
what.
do next?
What are we doing next? I can't really say like a whole lot, but we are closing on a deal to acquire another business
Okay.
on Friday. We're closing it. So
All right. Well,
we're all hands
that's
on
fantastic.
deck. We're all hands on deck with that, currently. So that's, what I'm going to do next.
I can imagine that takes up a lot of your time. And with that, Joe, we are out of time. I appreciate this. What a great interview. Great insight. Thank you so much.
Well,
Any
thanks
last
for having
words?
me. No,
Oh.
man, thank you very much. This was, really fun for me, exciting for me. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here. We'll see you guys all next time on the Business Spotlight.